It all began on a rainy Monday morning. Elliot Crane, CEO of Tyrex Solutions, stared blankly at the endless lines of code on the giant monitor in the command room. Red alerts flashed across multiple screens as engineers scrambled, some furiously typing, others on phones. The heartbeat of the company, its core AI logistics network, had gone offline. Millions of packages were untracked, deliveries halted, contracts breached, and the stock price was already beginning to nosedive. He rubbed his temples, the tension squeezing through his skull like a vice. His team of top-tier engineers, some recruited from Silicon Valley and others headhunted from Ivy League institutions, were failing. Tyrex's proprietary system wasn't just down, it was corrupted. Entire nodes were crashing, backups weren't restoring, and no one had answers. How long until we're operational again? Elliot asked, voice low but shaking. No one responded. That silence terrified him more than anything. He turned toward Miranda, his chief of operations. We have over 300 trucks on the road without route updates. That's $30 million in logistics floating in limbo. She didn't blink. We're doing what we can. That's not good enough, Elliot snapped. If this isn't fixed within the hour, we lose federal contracts. That's our lifeline. Just then, amid the chaos and hum of anxious voices, a quiet knock came from the far door, barely audible. Elliot barely noticed it until the door creaked open. Everyone turned. It was Leo, the janitor's son. A thin 15-year-old in a faded hoodie, holding a tattered backpack and soaked from the rain. Sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt, he said nervously, pushing his wet curls from his forehead. Security. Someone yelled reflexively. No. I'm just waiting for my dad. He's finishing up the second floor, Leo added quickly, stepping back toward the hallway. But something about his voice, how calm and composed it was amidst the storm, made Elliot pause. You need something? He asked, voice still laced with urgency, but tinged now with curiosity. Leo hesitated. I heard, you're having trouble with the AI system. Miranda folded her arms. You overheard classified company data? I was just waiting, and the doors were open. Leo looked embarrassed. Sorry. I wasn't spying. I've read a bit about predictive logistics and modular routing systems. There was a beat of silence. Then someone chuckled under their breath. You've read a bit? One of the senior engineers echoed, amused. Leo nodded. I built a scaled-down version at home last year using open-source modules and Raspberry Pi boards. I modeled it after your earlier white paper from 2018. Miranda squinted. Wait, how did you get that paper? That wasn't public. Leo blushed. It was in a presentation your CTO gave at the UC Berkeley Tech Talk. The video was taken down after a few weeks, but I saved the slides. Now it was Elliot's turn to blink. The kid had not only accessed internal design theory, but reverse engineered it into a prototype. What exactly did you build? He asked. I called it PAX Route. It's not as advanced, but I modeled the neural routing logic using probabilistic matrices instead of deterministic heuristics. Your version uses locked thresholds, right? That's probably why your system can't handle conflicting data packets after the patch update. The room fell completely silent. No one laughed now. Elliot leaned forward. What did you say about the patch? Leo stepped in carefully, holding his backpack in front of him like a shield. Your version probably crashed because the new patch updated the recognition parameters for dynamic routes, but didn't update the legacy node compatibility. That's why the nodes are rejecting incoming data. It reads it as foreign code. Elliot turned sharply toward one of his engineers. Is that even possible? The engineer looked stunned. It fits. We did install a node compliance patch last week. It was a silent update pushed from HQ. Elliot turned back to Leo. Can you fix it? Leo hesitated. Maybe. I'd need access to the sandbox server. I could run a simulation using a compatibility bridge I coded for my version. Elliot nodded. Do it. Security looked baffled. Sir, you can't be serious. I said let him in, Elliot snapped. Leo was led to an empty terminal. His fingers moved quickly, confidently, as if he were typing code in his sleep. Everyone watched, barely breathing. He uploaded his own logic module into the sandbox, ran compatibility patches, then tested his bridge system. Within 15 minutes, the sandbox returned green signals. Try this script on a test node, Leo suggested. They did. The node stayed online. Then 2 more. Still green. Within an hour, 78% of the network had been restored. By noon, all systems were live. The office erupted in cheers. Some engineers clapped Leo on the back. Miranda stared at him like she couldn't decide if he was a genius or a ghost. And Elliot, still stunned, walked over and offered his hand. Leo shook it shyly. "You just saved $1 billion company," Elliot said, disbelief still in his voice. "What's your name again?" "Leo Espinoza." "And your father works here?" "He's your night janitor." "Mr. Ramon Espinoza." Elliot looked down, stunned. He'd seen Ramon for years, always quiet, always early, always cleaning the very floor Leo now stood on. "I want to meet your father." Ramon was brought in, equally drenched from the rain, holding his mop. He looked confused. "Is something wrong?" "Not at all," Elliot said, smiling warmly. "Your son just saved this company." Ramon blinked. "He did?" Leo shrugged modestly. "I just helped." Elliot turned to HR. "Full scholarship for Leo? Any college he wants. And he starts internship training this summer with a team." Leo's eyes widened. Ramon looked like he might cry. "That's too much," he whispered. "No," Elliot said, smiling. "It's the least we can do. Your son reminded us what real brilliance looks like, and that talent doesn't come wrapped in a resume." The moment was pure, honest, unfiltered. In the weeks that followed, Tyrex Solutions recovered their losses and even hit a record quarterly gain. Shareholders never knew just how close the company came to collapse. But in the halls of that high-rise, the story of Leo Espinoza spread like wildfire. Employees spoke of humility, of genius found in unexpected places, and of a janitor's son who changed everything. And every time Elliot walked into the command room, he remembered that rainy Monday morning, not as the day everything almost ended, but as the day a quiet voice, a soaked hoodie, and a boy's kindness brought it all back.